I realize that these old cars, there's going to be a lot of folks that come along after I'm gone, try to figure out how to put everything where it goes. I hope that by going to the trouble to show you these things, that it'll make it easier for y'all someday to figure out how they go when some old guys like me aren't around to talk to anymore. This big bolt here, your wire, your big hot battery connects to that. And then there's a small wire from the ignition that connects to this one and to this one. And one of those wires activates the solenoid switch, this is the solenoid right here, and causes the thing to fire when you turn the switch. And see, this will go right there. I can just go right ahead. And one thing I want to tell you, when you put one of these on, don't tighten it too tight, because you can actually break. Remember I talked about this bake light part of the solenoid? Well, that's what that is, or the plastic part. You can break that. You can break it by over tightening this bolt. So I'm going to tighten it snug, but you don't want to over tighten it. And also, I want this wire to not touch this post right here. So I want it to go in there where it doesn't touch that post, but it also needs to not touch anything else. In other words, I need it not to touch the motor or the motor mount or anything else. Now, this pole is a little biggish on this old starter. Nothing wrong with that. If I can get that to go on there, and I can, I'm just gonna have to woggle it on there. And I may have to move y'all. I may have to move y'all to reach down past you to get to it. Let's see. Yeah, it's going. Walking it up on there. See, this is the gas line, so you can see right here already there's a danger point. You don't want gas getting on the hot wire here, especially if that thing sparks when you go to start it. So you kind of have to keep in mind that you're trying to keep a lot of this out of the way. Actually, I take it back. That's not a gas line. That is a, thank goodness, that is a transmission cooler line. The gas line is down here and it runs under the motor mount, so that's good because that gets it away from this. So let's put this back on here. And we'll put this on that. This is a lot easier to do and to get to from here than it will be once you have the exhaust manifolds on it. These are old, cheap truck stop wrenches here that I was using this morning. Right here's the Craftsman right here, close the door. Having been on the road a long time, I've actually gone in lots of times to buy a wrench or something in a truck stop on the road when you might not have a tool, but you just need one. You need something, special. So that's what these are. This is a Craftsman. That other said Bonnie-Con. But you know what? I've used that old Bonnie-Con wrench for a lot of years, and it's gone okay. Nowadays, they're telling me that the Craftsman tools aren't considered to be worth much because, they came out with these snap-on tools that are so much better, but they're so much more expensive. I'm still using. They're also telling me that the new Craftsman tools, if they still make them at all, aren't even made in America anymore. I think Stanley bought out Craftsman, and maybe Lowe's bought out Stanley, and nowadays you get tools and you might as well buy them. Well, I shouldn't say that. I just don't know how good they are. I don't know how good Stanley tools are. I know that if you can find them and afford them. My friend who's a real mechanic said that the thing about the snap-on tools is that they're easier on your hands. He said there's two reasons why mechanics buy them. One is because it's easier to use them by the way they're made. And the other is that the Snap-on guy swings by your place of business every week and has a truckload of tools and waves them under your nose like candy under the nose of a bear, and tells you that you don't even have to pay for them all now. Just go ahead and take them, start using them, and just set you up on a payment plan. And then that way the mechanics wind up funding the college education of the Snap-on Toolman's kits. And that's how the economy works today. And I'm going to make that a little tighter. I don't want to make it too tight. And I also have to hold this wire so that that doesn't turn and hit this piece. Now I gotta go see what baby's barking at. Hey buddy, what's barking at? Okay, so now one of these wires is gonna go to one side up here, and one's gonna go to the other. Oh, that was supposed to go on that. Alrighty. And that probably goes to something. I should or could have put that under here with that. Had that come up under here like this. Yeah, let's take that loose and move that. Alright. I've got two wires down here, but I'm going to go under the car and look at them to see. I can see one down there and see where they're coming from or where they need, how they need to come through there. Okay. Alright, now what do we got here? We got this one, and is it just that one I have? Or is there another one? I'm gonna go down and look at this rat rod. There's two posts on that one, and only one wire. I know you need the wire that kicks the solenoid into action, and I know you need the big hot wire to drive the starter motor. I can't remember an additional wire there. And the nice thing about these cars here is they're just sitting here with everything exposed. So let's take a look here. Let's see what we got. Okay. So on this one we got just the one wire, and it's mounted up here. There's not an additional wire, but that doesn't tell me. See, that starter has well, this one has an outside. See, this one has an outside wire. So your battery wire comes to here. It goes in through this, which actuates the solenoid, and then sends the fire out through here to go down to there. Now that starter up there has just the one wire here, and it activates the starter motor internally, but then it's got a starter post on each side. And I can't remember which side it goes on or which side is the yeah. Let's take a look at the Studebaker. It's got luckily more than one car with an exposed starter that I can look at. So this one has the same setup as the one out there, and it's only got one wire, and it's on the lower side of the solenoid. So probably the thing to do would be go up there and wire that wire to the lower side of or the farther side out from the passenger side. Hit the switch if it don't turn over. Go back. Another thing I could do is if I connected the battery to it in the ground, I could jump it with a screwdriver one side or the other would make it activate. And once I knew which side would activate it, then I could just wire that to that side. Because all that side does is when you know that spot when you put your key on, and your key is on, but you hadn't activated the starter, because until you turn it another little bit, when you do that, that starter will activate the starter motor. And as soon as you let it go, it lets the starter motor stop. So that one wire is like loaded on a spring inside your ignition switch. And it only gets hot when you push it that extra little bit. So what I can do is, I need to set a battery over here and ground the lower side. In fact, I can go ahead and ground this to that, where that goes, and then ground one side of the battery to here and attach the other side to here. And my battery sits here, and I took this battery box out the other day when I was thinking about reworking this area, because I had such a wide radiator in here, and I'm still thinking about it. But maybe I could just take that small battery and just set it right there and run a ground wire to it, just enough to activate it. I've got this little battery right here, and it's connected to a whatchamacallit, battery tender, so it should have about 13 volts. Look at that. 13. It's got 13. That's enough. So we'll take this battery, sit it over in there. I may want to go ahead and put a bolt and attach this ground down here first. And I could take this one see what Buddy's barking at. He sounds far away. I try to keep them going over near the neighbor's house. Where's Buddy? Buddy! I see him back there. Hey Buddy, I'm just checking on you. Okay. So, yeah. So, I'm just going to stick these on here. Not tight, just twist them. This is the wire that goes to the ignition. I don't have that starter wire hooked up yet. I'm just going to go over here and look on the turn signals. I don't hear anything flashing. Got lights. Nope. Got nothing there. Okay. I didn't really tighten them either. What I can do is go down to the starter. Back where we were a while ago. I'm just going to ground this one up here. And reach down here and see if we got hot here. And we do. So, let me show you. So, we've got hot right there. You see it? So, technically, if I take a screwdriver and touch either this outside one or that inside one, the thing will turn over. So, that's what I'm going to do. Yes. Manually test the starter, and that'll tell me which one of these is going to make it start. And did with my flashlight, but I don't think I need it. So I think I should set you up here. So I'm gonna go with the inside one first. That's the one. So I don't know what the outside one is, but I don't need to mess with it. By the way, I did see the distributor turn. You remember before the distributor was pointing over here, now it's pointing over here. So this turned that distributor cap a half around when I did that. So now what I can do is take this wire and run it to that wire. And then theoretically, when I hit the starter from inside, it should turn over. So I'm gonna undo this first. And then I suppose I need you watching while I do that. Probably just, well, I could let you watch. I'm not sure I put my flash on. I had it on me. Not that I necessarily need it, but I don't like to lose track of it, because then who knows when I'll ever find it again. You know what I mean? So I'm going to pull off the nut that goes to this and find a little, I like to find a little tool. I have over here some little tools. Will sometimes fit something like this. Yep, that's the one. And now I can take this one here and run it right up here. And if you can see it, you'll notice I ran that wire up close to the engine block because I want to get it away from the exhaust manifold. That's another one of those that you don't want to tighten very much. Okay. Okay. So, theoretically speaking, if I get in the car, I hook this battery up, get in the car, hit the ignition switch, the motor should go vroom, vroom, vroom. So, let's try that. I'm not really going to crank it, we just want to hear it kind of spin the motor. I've gotten it out of gear, so that we won't have to worry about that. So this ain't working. Wonder why. But with all the wires laying around the way they are up in there, who knows?